How do we measure a life? By length of years, wealth or honours, Facebook friends or Instagram likes? Is it more a matter of whether a person got what they wanted much of the time? A good balance of joys over sorrows, things to be proud of over things for cause for shame? Or is it about character development, relationships, achievements? There have been many accounts of the good life. The ancient Greek author Aeschylus said it must be about more than money, for there are many rich fools. The hedonists thought it was a matter of maximising pleasures, even fleeting ones, and avoiding hard things, while the Epicureans sought deeper, more lasting joys. Aristotle said flourishing required virtuous character, rational choices, striving for excellence, and good friendships. For the Socratics, it was about the contemplative poise that comes from a rationally lived and examined life. Hippocrates' rule of thumb was to first do no harm. Aesop's, that we first do what's helpful. Solon taught that it was a matter of avoiding excess and living a balanced life. For the Pythagoreans, it meant assuming responsibility for our choices and their consequences. The Stoics and some Eastern philosophies said it was about self-mastery and equanimity in adversity. I wonder what you think makes a good life. But certainly there were many different views on that question of the good life in the ancient world as there are today. So how would those wise guides of old have assessed Bob Fulton's life? Though English-born, he was thoroughly Aussie, with all the virtues that come with that: mateship, good humour, down-to-earthness, a love for football, the surf, and the great outdoors. Scouted for Manly at 18, he was a most talented footballer and a natural leader. In 1968, aged only 21, he was the youngest ever team captain to lead a team into a grand final, and in due course led them to the premierships in 1972, 73 and 76. After 14 years at Manly, he gave East too. But altogether, that made 428 first-class games, 259 tries, 16 appearances for New South Wales, and 35 for Australia. In his next chapter, Bob turned to coaching, nurturing many talented players, steering Manly to 2 more premierships, coaching the Roos in 39 tests, and revolutionising the art of coaching in the process. And in chapter 3, he became an intelligent and witty radio commentator. Bob was a driven man. A competitive spirit coursed through his body and propelled him to great heights. In terms of excellence in a field of endeavour, of self-mastery and equanimity in adversity, of things to be proud of and of being honoured, Bob ticked many of the classical standards of a good life. But what might Christian faith say to this? Though Bob wasn't a religious man, he was christened and married in church, named his daughter Christy, and would turn up for touch football matches with the seminarians in Manly. Despite the best efforts of sports-mad priests down the years to find some reference to rugby league in the Bible, there is none. Though the Bible does include references to rabbits, dogs, bears, roosters and broncos, to dragons, storms, titans, raiders, and of course saints. Though there's no shark in the Bible, there is a man-swallowing whale and a twisting sea serpent for an eel. And of course, there are several references in the Bible to eagles as symbols of speed, power, predation, protectiveness, youthfulness, and soaring to great heights. And so St. Paul told the Corinthians, "Keep alert, stand firm in faith, be manly, be strong." The Bible is in fact peppered with references to sport, to wrestling, slingshot, javelin, darts, archery, swordplay, combat training, weightlifting, running, horse and chariot racing, all as metaphors for life. St. Paul observed that practicing virtue is like training for sport, that an athlete is only rewarded if he competes according to the rules, and that a true Christian is one who fights the good fight and presses toward the prize. Football, for many Australians, is like a religion. Not just for its heroes and the loyalty that they evoke, but also because it demonstrates values like personal besting, teamwork, courage, creativity, and perseverance. Bob Fulton was the high priest of that religion. Do you not know that when runners compete in the stadium, they all run, but only one receives the prize? Paul told his Corinthian team. So run in such a way that you may win it. Everyone who competes in the games exercises self-control to gain a perishable wreath, but we do it for an imperishable one. And so I do not run aimlessly or box as if beating the air. I discipline my body to keep it under control, lest after proclaiming to others, I myself should be disqualified. In addressing what the good life is, the Christian tradition unites the wisdom of the ancient philosophers, the mysticism of the Jews, the practicality of the gymnasium, and the inspiration of the gospel. Our first reading today wisely told us, length of days is not what makes age honourable, nor number of years the true measure of life. Understanding this is man's grey hairs, untarnished life. This is ripe old age. So character and behaviour are what matter most. Paul, in our epistle, agrees, saying that in the end we get our just deserts. Only we don't. We get more than we deserve, Paul says. For the God of mercy, revealed in Jesus Christ, keeps forgiving and holding out hope for every human being for more and better. By all accounts, Bob was a friendly, passionate, determined man, both on and off the field. Fiercely loyal to family and friends, as we'll no doubt hear in a little while in the words of remembrance from those family and friends. He was a generous man. I'm told he was so generous that he even forgave his producer for not being a league fan. Passionate about giving young people opportunities, he started a junior pathways initiative, mentored young men to reach their potential, offered a hand up to ones who'd gone off the rails. His love of family and footy came together when he coached his sons, Scott and Brett, in the Manly first grade. Private and good-humoured through his battle with cancer. When a nurse asked him what he did for a living, he said, "I look after my family." He died just short of his golden wedding anniversary, and Anne says she'd readily marry him again tomorrow. This fantastic spouse, son, father and grandfather, who cared for all around him. So how do we score a life like yours, Bob? Ultimately, that's a matter for the divine referee. But who would doubt Bob Fulton played a good game? Though he's called an immortal, the one thing he couldn't beat was death. Yet we Christians believe Bob has now joined the team of the only man ever to defeat death by rising from the dead. Today we commend Bob to the God who gives us our just deserts, plus more, as we hear from him, from his very casket, an echo of the dying words of St. Paul. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the game. I have kept the faith. All that is left for me is the medal of righteousness, which the Lord, the good referee, will give to me on that day. And not only to me, but to all who have longed for his appearing.